to figure out when the end of the music was, and I still missed it, and it looped back around to the beginning of it, but that's okay. If you were not on our last stream, we debuted that. An amazing musician. I'm going to put his info up there. Named Callsign Scarecrow. If you have not checked out his Twitch channel, then please do. And I cannot type and talk at the same time.
That's okay. I'll talk.
Okay.
Yes. That music that you just heard is some amazing music that was just written for the channel by a good friend of ours and an amazing streamer, Callsign Scarecrow. He lives across the pond, and we are eternally grateful for all the hard, amazing work that he does for us. But that is an introduction to Wonder.
He actually, he wrote that specifically for Wonder, which this is not, but it's amazing. And so we wanted to share it, and we figure we're using it as much as we can everywhere because we're just so incredibly grateful, and it's so beautiful. So yeah,
it's going to be my ringtone. Hi everybody, welcome to the Indigo Playroom. It is game night. It is Sunday night, and we've had such a long, sort of busy week with the holiday party and other stuff that kind of happened this weekend. That we decided we'd go kind of old school with it and just do the two of us sort of sitting on a couch and stuff like that, playing some card games. It is St. Patrick's Day. So not only do we have card games with us, but if you look at the little camera on the right-hand screen...
They don't have to look at the camera.
They don't have, because you're holding it. We've got a bottle of whiskey that we plan on trying to find the prize at the bottom of the bottle this evening.
I don't think there's a prize at the bottom of the bottle.
You keep saying that, but we keep looking. And then not only that, we also have some... spellbook cards. We have the Arcane pack of spellbook cards. We haven't even opened. I thought we could do a little bit of an unboxing on stream if anybody out there is interested in seeing what this little box of cards.
Yes.
Wow, that's a lot of cards.
There's so many cards.
That's a lot of cards. But while
we have plans with these cards. There is a specific reason we bought them. We've been one of the kind of streams that we've introduced lately is D&D 101. And we had some amazing people over that had never ever played D&D before, and we're going to have some more people coming over at some point.
I'm actually kind of honored and happy at the fact that this will be the first game on stream and show on Indigo Chameleon where the number of Dungeons and Dragons players are, the majority of them are women.
Oh, wow.
Learning to play and awesome. Playing the game, like, it's not a bad thing. I mean, it's universal. Anybody that can play Dungeons and Dragons, but you know, like, that's kind of a cool thing to me. That you know, girls are jumping in and RPGing. Like,
I'm excited.
That makes me happy.
It's gonna be so much fun.
Okay, so the first thing I'm noticing is this is awesome. They gave us some blank cards. Some blanks,
yeah.
Which is really cool.
Well, and we don't even need to open these right now because these are not going to help us with our 101 players because I'm noticing here, look at that. Down cam. I'm noticing that these have 3s on them and these have 6s, 9s on them. So these are our higher level spell cards, which we will not be using for those players, so we'll look at them later. We tend to start at level 1 for new players.
We do.
Generally. So we're probably going to be pulling stuff from the first part of this deck.
Yeah.
One of the things that seemed to work out pretty well, I'm going to switch back to this. One of the things that seemed to work out pretty well was having an experienced player on each side of the table and kind of having them familiar with kind of the sorts of spells that their players had and things like that. So we thought that this might be a really good way to have easy access if people weren't familiar with D&D Beyond, because we tend to use that a lot. But for them to have easy access to their spell cards and pull things from this particular deck.
It's got new card smell.
I love it.
It's not the equivalent of new book smell, but it is really close.
But it's not quite new car smell. It's just
new card smell. But cantrips are also level 0.
Ooh.
Which I really, really like.
Yay. Look at all of those blanks.
So you guys might actually be able to help with this. We were trying to think of, you're learning how to play Dungeons and Dragons. Even if you are somebody that's never played before, and you had sort of picked up on it a little bit from osmosis or various TV shows or things of that nature. When you think of Dungeons and Dragons, what are some of the things that you think about? Because we kind of want to break this down to its like
Yeah,
more
we-
simple components.
We
I guess?
kind of wanted to break down into, and let people do names and stuff, but we kind of wanted to break down into really, really typical beginner race class combos.
Yes.
Because we figured we could kind of pre-design those so that we don't have to spend an hour to 2 hours at the beginning of each episode, or have people come over super early because half the time they can't get there earlier anyway, and make them design a character from the ground up, because that can be a little bit overwhelming at first. So we were going to kind of pre-design the stats and put together some race class combos. Ooh, thank you. That smells nice. And then let people take those and then build on those, so they could still come up with their own kind of character and their own background and their own names and all of that stuff. But they're building off of kind of a basic structure. For example, Elf Ranger is a really, really typical.
Okay.
Like, I want to be an elf and I want to be an archer. I want to be
An Elven Ranger.
Yeah,
Legolas.
Lord of the Rings. That would be Legolas.
Legolas, okay.
Is kind of a really super, super typical kind of thing. And then main races that people tend to go for are what? Elven?
I don't know. Like, some of the sexier races aren't necessarily like the core races that you can get. Like, I feel like
Dragonborn is a new one, but a lot of people tend to go for Dragonborn.
Yeah.
If people are going for power players.
No. Human?
Human's probably a good place to start. Do people tend to go, you think, for more gnome or
Possibly. I mean, one of the
probably
little, probably halfling. Halfling's got that cool.
Maybe a halfling race and a gnome race?
Sure.
There's always somebody who wants to be a gnome, right? I don't know.
That was me. My first character was a gnome.
Yeah. I almost feel like a couple of elven characters make sense, because elves always seem to be super popular.
It might be good to do that elf and then a half elf.
Oh, that's good. Half elf. I feel like there should be an elven, like a ranger type, and there should be some sort of an elven magic user.
Okay. Like
elven sorcerer, elven wizard,
let's do
something
that
along
then.
those lines.
Do elf ranger.
And what do you guys think? Like, join in, chime in. Like, we'd love to have feedback, especially if you play in D&D. Like, what sorts of characters do you think of as the archetypical kind of beginner characters? What people tend to go for? I love the gnome. Hi, Gypsy. I got what you're saying. You loathe the gnome. You love the gnome.
The gnome druid seems to be a good pairing. Like the gnome druid, God, yeah, with all their magic stuff and their affinity towards animals and things of that nature. Like,
yeah.
Or you could do the halfling, but I think gnomes are the ones that get a boost to wisdom or dexterity too.
Well, druid's got to be wisdom.
Yeah.
And I don't remember which ones get a boost to their wisdom.
Hang on,
I know that furbolgs are kind of built to be druids, but they're a newer race, and I'd rather go with some of the more standard.
Okay. Well, we can always look that up and try to.
But yeah, like, okay, well then let's talk.
Halfling
classes.
rogue works really well to me.
Halfling rogue.
Being able to cancel out that nat 1 is really
Yeah,
useful
but can
to
they
me.
do that at level 1?
Yes, that's
They
a
can?
racial
Okay.
ability.
Wow.
You roll a nat 1, you get to re-roll that bad boy. Now, granted, if you roll 2 nat 1s in a row, you are stuck with the nat 1.
Yeah, but
yeah.
halfling rogue, elf ranger.
Yeah.
What else?
We need a fighter.
Oh, like we need like a dragonborn barbarian or
Dragonborn
dragonborn fighter or
yeah.
something along those lines. Like
Dragonborn fighter tends to
big,
work really
tough
well. Big, burly.
dragonborn fighter.
Yes.
As far as we've got ranged in rangers. We've got melee with fighter.
Sneaky.
Rogue also tends to be a little melee
Once you
sneaky,
do a
but
half-
we need some magic users. So sorcerer,
Yeah.
because you don't get it at level 1. You don't have to get into sorcery points and all that stuff
Half
yet,
elf
which makes
sorcerer?
it easier. Sure, why not?
You were talking about doing like an elven
Half
sorcerer,
elf,
elven
yeah,
like,
magic user of some sort. Half elf sorcerer. Oh, we've got to have a druid of some sort. We talked about maybe a gnome druid or something like that.
Gnome druid. Yeah, let me look up the racial abilities. Like
Cleric. Maybe mountain dwarf. Yeah. Cleric's good too, because cleric's nice because you can go in both directions a little bit, and it's nice to have someone who has the healing capabilities. Might be better to go with a cleric that is more of a healer-based cleric.
Okay.
Because that way, if somebody's wanting to play more of a healer, they can go in the cleric direction.
Okay. Gnomes get a +2 to intelligence, so they kind of make for better wizards than anything else. Halflings get a +2 to dexterity, but they get the lucky and the brave feat. Let's see. Not a lot of the races get a add to wisdom. I think elves maybe. No, elvens get like +2 to dex.
My druid, then again, I never pick based on that stuff. I was gonna say my druids, one is a half elf, one is a furbolg, which is actually good for wisdom.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't have picked my half elf because she was wisdom based, although she may have been, because it was more of her story.
Wood elves. Wood elves are get wisdom. Yeah.
That's right, because Callie was a wood elf.
She was a wood elf. She got Fleet of Foot, Mask of the Wild, yeah.
So, like, just have a second elf. Wood elf. Druid? Mm-hmm. Okay. Cleric and a healer cleric. What is cleric base? Is that int? I've never had a cleric.
Cleric, like the cleric base for them?
Yeah.
No, that's...
What are they?
That's wisdom.
Clerics are wisdom too?
I think it's wisdom and constitution. Like, because they're big and burly. They're healers and warriors. So creating a cleric, you want to do first your wisdom should be the highest, and then strength or constitution is the next highest for doing a quick cleric. So actually a dwarven cleric, like if we wanted to do that, like to do the dwarven cleric, like seems like it would be like a natural fit or something along those lines.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6.
Yeah.
We can go anywhere between 8 and 12 because we max out at 12 for a campaign on DDB.
Okay.
But this is a good list to start with.
Yeah, human warlock. Like if we wanted to.
Oh, we haven't done any humans yet, have we?
Yeah, we could do a human warlock and talk about feats. This would be a good sort of like thing when we're like trying to teach people how to do stuff.
Yeah. And then we can look at what sorts of spells they have available. That's the only thing is I'm used to having the spell cards that are specific to your actual rate or your actual class.
It's going to take a little bit of work.
So we're going to have to look through and see kind of what works. But since it's level 1, it makes it way, way easier.
Yeah.
And that way we're not doubling it. This is actually good because this will prevent us from doubling up spells between 2 different people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gosh, that's a lot of cantrips they've got in there.
Well, yeah. I mean, you've got to... Well, there might also be room to have like blank cards in there and like to be able to write down...
Well, that's the thing. There's blank cards for level 1. There's blank cards for the cantrips. I love that.
Probably to accommodate any sort of new material that's released and things of that sort. D&D Beyond is an amazing... they're not a sponsor in any way, but they are an amazing sort of resource when you're coming up with, looking for new spells, you're looking to create a character. They even have, as a DM, they have a create like random character where you just sort of select the race and you go from there and sort of pick, what you're looking for, and it sort of fills out everything on its own. Like, it's just a great little utility.
These are some good starter cantrips, actually. There's like Acid Splash, Blade Ward,
Booming Blade.
Yeah, Dancing Lights, Eldritch Blast.
That's a warlock specific thing, right? Does it list the classes on there that have access to that?
It does not. That's what I was checking. I thought it would.
Okay.
No, not even on the back. Friends. What is Friends?
Friends is a really cool spell. I mean...
Advantage on all charisma checks directed at one creature of your choice that isn't hostile. So this is like Charm Person.
Yeah, but it's a cantrip.
That's
because you're not charming them. You're just getting advantage on any sort of charisma based checks that you have with them. So
green flame blades. I've got flame blade, but it's also not a cantrip. Jeez, Light. Mage Hand, that's a really good one to have on hand for somebody. And Mending. Message. Minor Illusion. Yeah, there's some really good stuff here. Prestidigitation. True Strike.
True Strike is an interesting spell. It's almost like you're setting up yourself for the next attack. Like if
nice.
some of your characters in the past have had like these clutch attacks, you know, but if you wanted to set it up so that you definitely had advantage on that attack, you could always like do True Strike and still cast a bonus action. You know?
So here's the telling thing. I want to see how big our stack, because we're really just going to be looking at level 1 spells. So they're all sticky. Not sticky, but they're together.
Yeah, that's level 1.
That is level 1 right now.
Okay. So should we pull a card at random?
Yes, pull a card at random.
Okay. Let's talk. Let's
Fog
talk about.
Cloud! Oh my gosh. Fog Cloud just keeps coming back to haunt us.
Fog Cloud is an amazing spell,
Over
and it's
and over and
underutilized
over.
in the game of Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition because of all the amazing ways that you can use Fog Cloud to cover an escape, to set your party up for an amazing heist or stealing something. It's fantastic. So we love Fog Cloud here. We for a very long time we had somebody who shall remain nameless, who Reardon, who's following, who had access to the spell, and every time he learned something else or dropped Fog Cloud, we would run into a situation where that spell would have been the perfect spell to use, but he just never had access.
He just never had access to it. We finally joked that like his character was never going to level up, or no, it was his weapon. It was never going to level up until he actually was able to use Fog Cloud, until he was able to find an opportunity where he actually had it prepared and he could use Fog Cloud when he needed to use Fog Cloud.
I don't even think he needed it prepared. The weapon could
I
cast
think the
it.
weapon, I think when he leveled up, the weapon could cast Fog Cloud. It was amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Fog Cloud might be a really good spell to use in
All right.
there.
Can I do a random one?
Do you want to pull a random one? See if we should add that to a list or put that into the deck?
Ray of Sickness. Ugh.
No, this is actually a really good spell. It's a little complicated, but it's a good spell.
Ranged spell attack against the target.
Right.
2d8 poison damage. And must make Constitution saving throw. Poison till the end of your next turn. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't read the fine print.
What?
Fine print is this. When you cast a spell using a spell slot of 2nd level or higher, the damage increases by 1d8. And if they fail the save, it's poisoned until the end of your next turn. So then they start taking poison damage as well.
Dissonant Whispers.
That's a very bard spell.
Disguise Self. Detect Magic. Comprehend Languages. Color Spray.
You ever done color spray before?
No, I haven't done Color Spray before. 15-foot cone originating from your affected in ascending order of their current hit points. Each creature affected by the spell is blinded till the spell ends. It's a dazzling array of flashing colored light springing from your hand. That is not what I thought it was going to get. That was going to be more along the lines of Fairy Fire.
But think of it like this. Like, if a creature is blinded, all attacks against it have advantage.
Oh, yeah.
So if you had somebody that used that spell in the right place, like, yeah.
I love Charm Person. That's such a fun one to play with.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was until you cast it and then forgot you cast it. And then...
Well, that's true. But then it's fun for the DM to play with. So somebody's going to have fun with it.
I think, didn't that happen during
Yes.
the last
It was
D&D
the training level.
101?
No, it wasn't. No, that was a Wonder game that happened. D&D
It
101
was. It was a one-shot.
was because I misused the sleep spell.
That's right. That's right.
I forgot that it affects around the creature, that it affects in order of hit points that are left.
Yeah.
So I put some people to sleep.
Okay.
Oops. Bane. I have Bane as a racial. Is it a racial spell or a
You do?
something spell with one of my characters, and I have never once used it.
Bane is really powerful, especially at the lower levels. Like being able to subtract a D4
I haven't
from
found
enemies.
a really good reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Magic missile.
What did Hillary just say? I had to...
Wake Chris up? You had to wake Chris up.
Oh no, did Chris fall
Did
asleep?
Chris fall asleep? Oh.
Oh, in the game. Chris fell asleep. You
yeah,
can't
that's right.
sleep.
You had to wake Chris up.
Actually,
That's right.
Hillary, thank you, Legend Hillary. Hillary, you actually almost were responsible for making sure that they won that battle. Because if you hadn't woken Chris up, it would have turned
That's
into
true.
this.
It would have been bad.
That's right. She did a belly flop on him when he was asleep in order to wake him up. Her little nug the robe. That was
Hellish
such a good move.
Rebuke.
Hellish Rebuke is amazing, and not a lot of people do that.
Ooh, is that a warlock spell? Find familiar?
Nope, that's a wizard spell. Or a bard spell if you're Zephyr.
That's right. That's
and you
how he
decide
got
to
his
pick
weasel.
up that particular spell. Yeah.
Feather Fall's pretty good too. That's a good one to have on hand. And Fairy Fire. Somebody's gonna have Fairy Fire.
Fairy Fire is all around useful. Anytime you're fighting something invisible, Fairy Fire is this amazing spell.
Light him up.
That lights him up, basically lights up a bad guy, and you're able to sort of pummel him a little bit. And so, what's your favorite spell? If you if you had to narrow it down to one spell in D&D.
If you had asked me a year and a half ago,
okay,
or 2 years ago, when I was working on my first characters, my first campaign, and stuff like that, if you'd asked me, it would have been
Locate Object.
Oh crap! Well, that or just kind of my standards, Hunter's Mark and things like that. Now. Prestidigitation is one of them. Now I like the creative spells. Now I like the versatile creative spells. DM's most hated spell, especially when I'm involved. Summon woodland creatures. I know you hate it, but
I don't hate it. I have yet to have to deal with that in any of my campaigns. I have benefited from it in several, but I have yet to have to deal with it in any of the campaigns that I DM with you.
Yeah.
So in any of the one shots.
Just wait.
Yeah.
I love prestidigitation. I love the magical, versatile spells that aren't necessarily offensive. Hey, how are you?
Hi, I'm so glad. Thank you so much for joining in.
Yay, they have an awesome D&D game. We are actually talking because we've got a D&D 101 game that we've started that we've been doing about once a month.
We're teaching a group of newbies how to play Dungeons and Dragons. So right now, we just opened up our brand new spellbook cards, our arcane deck. We're gonna make some. We're going to make some welcome packets for them. I didn't get a chance to tell you. One of the good friends of the show, Magnoff, has showed me something very interesting that we're going to be able to include. Each of the adventurers, based on their class, we're going to be able to provide them a backpack with the items that their hero comes with. You know, you come with starting equipment, but they will have a little tiny paper backpack that they open up with cards of here's a rope. You also get ball bearings, and so they will have physical representation of when you play the game,
cool.
Here's what's in there. It is a really cool product. If you're a priest, you get the priest pack or the rogue pack. It's just a very interesting.
That is really neat. I love it.
Yeah. So. But yeah, well, it's that. What is it? Dungeon.
Dungeons and Degenerates.
What a great freaking name!
I love it.
Oh my god, D&D. Welcome Dungeons and Degenerates to.
He said I'm the only newbie in the group, so this is awesome.
No,
Yay.
welcome Dungeons and Degenerates. Welcome to the Indigo community.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So we actually have a campaign that we're how far into episode 7 or 8. We do a D&D 5e in Wonderland on Tuesdays.
It's a homebrewed continent. A lot of fun.
Wonderland, long after kind of Alice and the Mad Hatter, these characters that we know from the stories have been almost deified.
Yes. So it's a lot of fun. Tune in on Tuesday at 8 o'clock.
8 Eastern.
But you can also find us on we've got our episodes on YouTube. You can always catch up. I would have said that your favorite spell was Pass Without a Trace, because I feel like you've utilized that better than any other spell in your arsenal, with the exception of Prestidigitation. Prestidigitation you've used in fun and unique ways.
It depends on the character. Pass Without a Trace, I have gotten certain characters that's been incredibly useful, and I've used that all the time.
Right.
But then there are other characters Opheria on Mondays, she's not a Pass Without a Trace sort of Prestidigitation. If I can do crazy weird stuff or make it sound like somebody's farting, or I don't know. She's an 8-year-old tiefling. She's
a child,
mischievous.
and she has access to magic. Yeah.
So with her, I would have different favorite spells for her than I would for other characters. You know.
Sure. Yeah.
It kind of depends on the character.
No, that makes sense.
Druids, I love being able to wild shape. And my Wicked character over on Plaster Dragon, I'm wild shaping all the time. Azuki,
Right.
I've wild shaped 2 or 3 times as Zoe in Wonder.
Oh, wow.
So, oh my gosh.
Dungeons and
Thank
Degenerates.
you so
Thank you
much
so
for the
much.
subscribe. That's amazing.
Yeah, let's do some, throw some karma. Throw some good
Wow.
karma at Dungeons and Degenerates.
So, oh, just subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Oh,
That's
sweet.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess
So-
you're right. It does kind of depend on the character and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Hunter's Mark was like my go-to with Callie.
Yeah.
I haven't had a character who's had Hunter's Mark in a while. Locate Object, I love. It's great.
That's a really good spell.
But then there are times when I just have a character that doesn't have it or doesn't use it as much.
I really liked Enlarge and Reduce. I feel like I got a lot of good play out of that one as Z. I had this when Dungeons and Dragons released their Unearthed Arcana, the very first go around for the Artificer, I chose the Gunsmith Artificer, and he has access to some limited spells. But I really got a lot of play out of Enlarge, Reduce, and Shield of Faith to add that +2 AC. Which seems like it helped us a couple of times in battles and stuff like that to be able to cast that. What else? The Bob has access to so many more interesting and fun spells. Like, I'd rather talk my way out of stuff, but
I feel like Charm Person's gotten me far with a lot of characters.
it has.
Like that's been a really standard go-to with a lot.
Yeah, because
like
you
it.
don't have to up your charisma at all.
Yeah.
Like you don't have. I mean, you can. But you don't necessarily have to in order to get past some of those like social interaction puzzles or things.
And it works for short-term interactions. The problem where it bites you is after the spell's ended, they know you cast it. So if you're going to have a long-term interaction, it's going to bite you. But it's a fun spell, and it's used in different ways.
Should we incorporate a bard into the D&D 101? It's such a unique class.
It is, but I also feel like Bard can be really overwhelming for a new player. Bard's overwhelming for me. You know, like, I mean, we could. We should put it on the list.
We should put it on the list, but maybe even something like a Tiefling Bard, since they get the upgrade to their charisma.
Yeah, maybe. I'm putting that on our list over on the side.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you think? What we've been trying to think about, and as a newer player, you might have some really good feedback on this. We were trying to think of some of those standard race class combos for newer players that are kind of easy to understand and that people really want to play in the beginning. Like Elven Ranger tends to be a really, really typical starter race class
Dwarven
combo.
Cleric, Dragonborn Fighter, Half-Elf Sorcerer. What goes together like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
Should we do a Barbarian?
Barbarians are fun.
Half-Orc?
And the nice thing about a Barbarian, I feel like for newer players, melee fighters are... I mean, yes, we need to have some magic users, but melee fighters are a little bit easier to understand if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed.
I would say a Goliath Barbarian or like a Half-Orc Barbarian.
Let's go half-orc, because a lot of people... And maybe this is because I'm biased because this is the route that I went, but a lot of people go from the world of Barbarian.
I'm a do that.
A lot of people go from like World of Warcraft into D&D, that sort of thing. They that's their background on it.
Would you say World of Warcraft is the gateway drug?
It is a gateway drug to Dungeons and Dragons.
Cool.
But then again, sometimes Dungeons and Dragons is the gateway drug to World of Warcraft, right?
Hi, new person. Welcome.
Hello, how are you? Thanks for joining us. So, but because of that, because for me, my first introduction to something like Dungeons and Dragons was through World of Warcraft.
Okay.
And so a lot of the connections, like my first character was an Elven Ranger because that was my go-to character in World of Warcraft. I loved the Ranger characters.
See, here's the amazing thing about Barbarians. Barbarians are a lot like fighters, but it's simplified, and you still have the strategy of being able to access that rage, being able to access the damage. Plus, it's fun to play lower intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the reasons why I enjoy playing the drunk monk character. I mean, and monks are an interesting class as well. Like, it's not something that we ever really think about or touch upon, but it's another one where you wouldn't have to use spell cards.
Yeah,
or
it's
anything
true.
Like Like
Monk
you
might
could
be
just,
a nice one to consider.
You know,
Half-orc barbarian is nice because that ties into some of the World of Warcraft races. You know, same as dwarves, same as humans, the elven races. It doesn't directly connect, but tieflings even visually kind of connect to the what are the World of Warcraft characters? The purple with the horns, and they kind of look like
I know what you're talking about.
yeah,
Like they were
the alien
aliens.
race. Yeah, the ones that crash landed that were the alien race. I cannot
God, what
remember.
are
I
they
had a character.
called?
I cannot remember. If anybody's on and they remember what they were called, just
I'm
shout
gonna look it
out,
up, too.
'cause I loved that character too, and I haven't played in a while, and I cannot remember for the life of me what they're called. They have like the hooves at the bottom, and
They're all purple.
they're purple. They've got tails. They've got horns, and I can't remember. Somebody's gonna remember. Just as you find it, somebody's gonna type it up there.
No, don't look to.
5, 4, 3. Hey! Nope, they didn't type
Draenei.
Draenei. Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, even those two kind of connect. Like if somebody's got experience in World of Warcraft, they would. I mean, they're magic users.
They are.
But yeah. So what we plan to do is kind of build a whole set of like 8 to 12 beginner basic characters, so that people can kind of pick the character sheet rather than having to build something from scratch, and then have spell cards that go with it. And
But Legend Hillary, we will have you and I will work together the next time you're here, and you are always welcome over here anytime there's a game going on. You know that. But you can always come in a little early or stay a little later, and we can craft you the barbarian warrior of your dreams. They have big old axe, or maybe even like a fun weapon. I love the barbarian because of the different totems, like the different animal totems that they can do. That's one of the paths that they can take.
I designed a barbarian that I never got to play.
The half-orc.
Yeah. So I really liked her. Mogok Scarmug.
Some of our conversations about Mogok informed Knock.
Really?
Yeah, because
I
you
did not
you
know
had this
that.
thing of like, well, she was kind of childlike, and she was like, you know, like
She was like half-orc Belle.
yeah, that's right.
Like, I want adventure in the great woods.
Mogok, stop singing. Okay, sorry, guys. You have to stop singing. You're gonna give away our position. I will adventure in the great woods. Mogok falls in love with a human, who's actually an orc that was cursed by an old witch to look human.
Oh my gosh, it's getting very Shrek.
Until he can fall in love for the first time with someone and break the curse.
Oh my gosh. So, well, then I guess we need to work on creating these characters at some point, like soon this week.
But we have time this week. If you guys want to, you can tune in on Thursday and help cheer in another group of people learning to play D&D. Hello, Meowedith.
Hello, Meowedith. How are you?
Hi. And like I said before, I don't know if anybody tuned in, but I'm very excited that we have a majority female players for this game of D&D and learning how to play D&D. So this is a very good thing. And then Friday, we're working with another streaming group that's...
oh my gosh, this week is D&D week, isn't it?
This week is D&D week.
We're kind of doing our Sunday night dealing with D&D, and then we have Tuesday D&D in Wonder.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Well, and then we're doing Monday and Wednesday on another channel D&D.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
We're doing a full week of
No
D&D.
better way to spend spring break than
gosh.
to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
And then, Wednesday we have to resurrect a character that we killed. Oops. And then Thursday is 101. Friday is our charity stream, isn't it?
It is.
We are teaming up with
the STDs,
the Small Terrible Dragonborn. To do a charity stream for the Trevor Project, which is an amazing organization. Check it out. I need to create a little...
I'm going to be running a group of players through the original module Tomb of Horrors, written by Gary Gygax himself.
We're going to die. We've already been told to have a backup character because your first character is probably going to die. And what level do they have to be? Like 15?
14.
14 just to go through, and they're probably going to die.
Yes.
So it's going to be so exciting.
But I'm letting you guys get an uncommon magic item too, and like really good armor. So you'll have fun sort of crafting this sort of area.
Hello, Handlehead. I tune in at STDs. Oh, yay! That's awesome. So yeah, we'll be kind of streaming at the same time and kind of crossing over.
We're affectionately calling it a sister stream
Yes.
to the STDs, and we are very, very grateful that we could partner up with them and donate to such a worthy cause. And we'll have a URL that set
It
up.
goes directly to Trevor Project. That way you know that. I mean, any bits that we get will also go to Trevor Project, but that way you know if you're making a donation.
Don't be scared. You're going to be just fine. That's one of our players.
That's right. And one of our players on our charity stream in our Tomb of Horrors, where we're all going to be level 14 and die terrible, horrible deaths, one of our players just played her very, very first game on our D&D 101 stream.
So, let's look at some of these spells that you might be using.
Oh, so maybe we should give you some of these spell cards, and that way you have cards with you to help.
Well, I think she's going to be a barbarian.
Oh, that's smarter.
I think she's going to
be a barbarian.
I think the two characters that we have set up for Hillary might be. We'll do a barbarian.
Aw, thank you, Moswald. You're amazing.
Whoa!
Sheer death murder. Yay! Sheer death murder.
Did Moswald just do that?
Yes, Moswald did that.
Oh wow, Moswald. Just for that cheer, since I'm working on your character right now. The idea that I had for your shield. Think Goofy from Kingdom Hearts. I think I'm gonna make it throwable.
Ooh.
So your character for Wonder will not only have like a sort of shield, but I think we're gonna have something that you can make ranged attacks with it as well. So, but because of those bits, buddy, thank you so
Yay!
much.
By the way, if you're just joining us, we also have a Discord. I just put it up on the screen. And we hang out in the Discord. Yay! We also have a vampire RP kind of
Blood and bourbon.
area, blood and bourbon that takes place in New Orleans,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of fun.
Thank you, dude.
All sorts of things. Hi, Miss Audie. Miss Audie, we are just working on putting together some races and classes for our D&D 101. And we were going to play some cards. We haven't really gotten to that yet. We got distracted by looking through the arcane spellbook cards. So...
What about the spell Circle of Death?
Oh, see, I haven't gotten into any necromancy spells except for that one time I used Blade on myself.
Sphere of negative energy ripples out in a 60-foot radius. Each creature in the area must make a Constitution saving throw or take 8d6 necrotic damage.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm into
That's
this.
frightening.
I'm into this.
So... Oh... I just pulled up... Okay, I just randomly pulled the cards. Look at what spell.
What did you put?
Okay, so the spell that I just pulled up is a spell that is near and dear and very scary to my heart right now. It's the spell Reincarnate. And we have another stream, or we have a game that we play over on another channel called The Plaster Dragon, where I have to use this spell. I'm actually creating the spell right now because there's an actual kind of ceremony to it. So I'm creating the spell ceremony right now because that's something that we have to do on the stream on Wednesday. Because we have to bring back one of our characters that is dead. And I shouldn't mention why he's dead.
You can mention why he's
He's dead because we killed him.
We didn't.
We killed him.
Oh my god.
It's a very long story. But oh my god, I can't believe I pulled up that spell first thing.
Well, you might want to hold on to it. And
I know.
you can have
No,
it with
I've
you
read
forever.
this spell so many times, I think I have it memorized. So, okay, I'm putting this spell down. Ugh.
Murder.
Oh my gosh, that spell, I've never used that spell because that spell is scary. The reason that spell is scary is because it can bring a character back from the dead within 10 days of them dying. But it brings their soul back into a new body. And there's a dice roll for that new body, and you don't know what they're gonna get. It could be just about anything. There's a table in the player's handbook, but there are also new updated tables online that take into account some of the new races that have come out since. And so there is just a massive list of choices, and it's a D100.
There's been a lot of talk of espionage. There's been a lot of talk of murder.
It's so frightening. We don't know what he's gonna look like.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
I know, but it's Zephyr.
I want to talk about the spell Magic Jar. So much intrigue and so much murder. Requires 500 gold pieces of materials, and you need a reliquary or a jar. Your body falls into a catatonic state as your soul leaves it and enters a container that you used for the soul's material components.
Okay, so far this is Star Trek, except it's a jar instead of a person.
When your soul inhabits the container, you are aware of your surroundings, as if you were in the container space.
I'm a genie in a bottle.
You can't move.
Okay.
You can't use reactions.
Okay.
What you can do is project your soul up to 100 feet out of the container, either returning to your body and ending the spell, or attempting to possess another humanoid's body.
Permanently?
The casting time takes a minute, and it lasts until
that
the spell.
That is a 6th level necromancy spell.
Could you imagine? How about no? And then you just go into a catatonic state and take over the king's body or the big bad's body because you like that.
It's a phylactery. You're right.
I gotta get that.
Oh my gosh!
I gotta get that lich a phylactery. Liches love phylacteries.
Plane shift. There's some good spells. Stop talking about that spell. It's making me nervous. Oh my god. Ooh, maze. See, I've never gotten into
Oh my god.
spells.
We need to talk about how fucked up this
you
spell
banish
is.
a creature that you can see within range into a labyrinth or a labyrinthine demiplane. The target remains there for the duration or until it escapes the maze. The target can use its action to attempt to escape. When it does so, it makes a DC 20 intelligence check. If it succeeds, it escapes, and the spell ends. A Minotaur or a Goristro demon automatically succeeds. When the spell ends, the target reappears in the space it left, or if that space is occupied, in the nearest unoccupied space.
You know who's really good at casting a spell?
Who?
David Bowie.
You remind me of the Babe.
What Babe?
Babe with power.
What power?
Power of voodoo.
Voodoo.
You do.
Remind you?
Of the Babe.
Dance, magic, dance. Dance. Yeah, this spell is...
Oh my gosh.
I remember this spell, and I'm familiar with this spell because in an episode of Critical Role, they cast it on the Barbarian. Because as a Barbarian, intelligence is usually your dump stat.
Yeah.
So you would have to roll a nat 20. And even rolling a nat 20, or you'd have to hit the magic user so much so that, that they lose concentration and the maze just sort of dissipates.
Okay, I want this to be a sorceress spell, and when Euphoria is strong enough, I want her to have this spell.
It is.
Mass suggestion. I could do so much damage as an 8-year-old tiefling with a spell like mass suggestion.
Bring me candy.
Oh my gosh. You suggest a course of activity and magically influence up to 12 creatures of your choice that you can see within range and that can hear and understand you. Creatures that can't be charmed or immune. It has to be worded in such a manner as to make the course of action sound reasonable.
Child, no.
Oh gosh, each target makes a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, it pursues the course of action you described to the best of its ability. 7th level slot, the duration is 10 days. The duration is 24 hours. 24 hours
Evil
of them doing whatever you want them to.
rolls over a small kingdom where people just...
Oh my gosh. 8th level slot, the duration is 30 days. When you use a 9th level slot, the duration is a year and a day. Oh, I could have so much fun with that spell.
I don't trust you with that spell.
Oh, I don't trust me with that spell either. I'm going to have that spell someday. I'm
going
to have that spell under the control of an 8-year-old tiefling. It's going to be amazing.
One day, I'm going to have that spell. And all the people will wave at me, and I will shout at them.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And I just keep saying reincarnate. Wolf isn't even here to commiserate with me.
I put that spell in there like 4 times.
Oh my gosh. Oh, there's so many good spells.
I love the higher...
Stinking Cloud. I would have fun with that one, too.
You would. What about Meteor Swarm?
Ooh, tell me about Meteor Swarm.
Blazing orbs of fire plummet to the ground at 4 different points that you can see within range. The range of the spell is 1 mile. Each creature in a 40-foot radius sphere, centered on each point that you choose, must make a dexterity saving throw. The sphere spreads around corners. A creature takes how much damage?
What
Ninth level
is it?
spell.
Ooh, 9th level? Okay, then that's like 8d8, 8d10.
20d6 fire damage.
And?
20d6 bludgeoning damage on a failed save. You create 4 of those at 4 different points that you can see within
That is just reign of
You
hellish
essentially
destruction.
turn into a Michael Bay movie. You are a walking, talking Michael Bay movie, and Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck cannot save you as you just hurl meteors at people. That's insane. Don't want to close my eyes. I've never even heard of this spell. The name of this spell is just weird.
What is it?
It is a 9th level illusion spell.
Oh, the spell is named weird. Oh, got it. I was like, this spell name is weird. No, it actually is
You
weird.
find a group of creatures and you create illusory creatures in their minds visible only to them, drawing upon their deepest, darkest fears.
Ooh.
Each creature within a 30-foot radius, centered on a point of your choice, must make a wisdom saving throw. It becomes frightened for the duration of the spell if it fails. The creatures manifest as things that they can see. At the start of each of its turns, it takes 4d10 psychic damage. So you basically just bring something's nightmares to life. Day, you need this spell.
Yeah.
This is a really cool
It's
spell.
true.
It is such a cool, power word kill is one. You utter a word of power that can compel one creature you see within range to just die instantly.
That's also a 9th level, right?
Yeah, it's got to have 100 hit points or fewer, but then...
Jeez, it just dies. Is it necromancy?
Yep.
Like, they're just dead?
No. It's just an enchantment. You just go, I'm done with you.
Wow.
And they go, boom, fall over.
Bigby's hands. What's the difference between Bigby's hand and...
Bigby's hand!
And just mage hand?
Bigby's hand is a large fucking hand. Mage hand can lift like 10 pounds. This is a huge spectral hand that can pick up a player and fly with them in the air or punch something or...
It's an object. It has an AC of 20. Hit points equal to your HP max.
Yeah.
It doesn't fill its space. Range is 120 feet. Large hand. Oh,
Yeah.
It has large in capital letters. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a large creature or a large hand.
Wow. Mimics the movements of your own hand.
Made infamous by Scanlan Shorthalt in the first season of Critical Role. Anytime he would cast Bigby's hand, he'd sing it like that. You go, Bigby's hand!
That's awesome.
And he'd hit that like one note. It was fucking great every time. Yeah.
There's so many.
We're going to have so much fun with it. I'm going to have fun just like flipping through and being like, what do I want to use on him this week? Like,
Oh, you're mean.
God, Gaius.
Magical command on a creature you can see within range, forcing it to carry out some service. If it can understand you, it has to succeed on a wisdom saving throw. It takes 5d10 psychic damage each time it acts in a manner directly counter to your instructions, but no more than once each day.
So it's not a mass suggestion. It's
a duration of 30 days.
So it's every day when you wake up, I want you to bring me 20 pieces of candy. And if it doesn't do that, it takes damage. So imagine having like a creature, like something like that understands you, that like if it doesn't follow your directions, every day it wakes up, it takes damage.
Wow.
Psychic damage. Like you're basically like not enslaving, but you're as close to enslaving as you possibly can be with like magical means.
Jeez.
I'm going to be using some of these spells on you guys.
That's unkind.
For the Tomb of Horrors.
Oh,
you guys
Tomb
are
of
gonna be
Horrors.
level
Yeah, you're
14.
totally gonna be-
Like one of these.
We are gonna die. We are gonna die so hard.
Aquarius, you gonna die. You gonna
It's
die.
gonna be so
twice.
bad. Conjure Fae. 6th level. Yeah.
What is contingency?
Contingency. 10 minutes casting time, duration 10 days. It's 6th level. Choose a spell of 5th level or lower that you can cast that has a casting time of 1 action and that can target you. You cast that spell, called the contingent spell, as part of casting contingency, expending spell slots for both.
Shut up.
But the contingent spell doesn't come into effect. Instead, it takes effect when a certain circumstance occurs. You describe that circumstance when you cast the 2 spells. For example, a contingency cast with water breathing might stipulate that water breathing comes into effect when you are engulfed in water or a similar liquid. That's brilliant.
Oh my god.
So you don't have to take the time to cast that
It's
spell.
in case of emergency.
It's insurance. It's spell insurance.
I immediately went to Aladdin. Be like, all right, Al, I can't help you here. You need to say, Genie, I want you to save my life. I'll take that as a yes. Like, you know.
Oh
like,
my gosh, yeah, that's brilliant. How smart. My favorite spell in D&D is the level 20 Death Palm that the monk has. The one where a melee attack that causes vibrations that the monk can explode 3 days afterwards, and it either kills them or does a lot of damage. I haven't even heard of this
It
spell.
is a level 20 ability, but he's right. You basically, like, you punch them in a spot that channels their chi, and what happens is...
You punch them in the spot that channels their chi.
But essentially, you have like 3 days to just be like, you know what? And they die now. Like,
Oh my god.
they're just walking around with a death sentence. This is a cool one.
Dramages?
Okay, so
instant summons?
I can sum this one up. You get a
Okay.
ruby.
Yeah.
You take any sort of item. You touch the
It says a sapphire, not a ruby.
or a sapphire. I'm sorry. It's going to be a sapphire. I think it's worth 1,000,
1,000 gold.
500, 1,000. You basically take it so that no matter where the item goes, if you smash the sapphire
Yeah.
and say the command word, the item gets transported to your hand. So we could have like traded gray or like, oh sure, yeah, take the dragon's tooth, and then like smash it, like it immediately transports to
Oh
your
my
hand no matter where it
gosh.
is.
That's cool.
Hey, here's a question. We're talking about spells and our favorite spells in Dungeons and Dragons, and I don't think we're going to teach any card games this evening. But when is a good time to introduce the deck?
Oh, deck of... Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Yes. Was it the deck of many things?
No,
the deck
no,
of
it's
fate?
the deck of... Crap, it's the deck of cards. It's that evil, awful, terrible deck of cards.
It is, with all the different sort
what
of
is that
abilities.
called
I think it's
again?
the deck of
Shoot,
many
is it
things.
deck of many things?
Never.
Yeah, never. You're right.
I don't
Especially with the wrong
know.
characters.
I kind of like the sort of chaos of
5e
deck
of
Many
many things.
things.
That's what it is.
with all the different abilities
Oh,
that
that
are.
is an evil. Oh, look, they sell the actual deck.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Huh? Look at that.
Deck of many things, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
it
know,
went
man.
terribly. We got it in our campaign. It went
It
terribly.
did not go terribly for us.
It didn't go as bad as it could have.
Nobody's what is it? Okay,
Okay.
so for those of you who don't know, the Deck of Many Things is this magical item that people are a little go either
gonna get
way
the
on
list.
in terms of whether you should introduce it into a campaign, because the Deck of Many Things has abilities that are really, really, really powerful. Not only can you do things like summon the avatar of death itself, and
You just randomly pull from the deck.
You
and
decide,
really
yeah.
Good things can happen, but really, really, really bad things can happen too. Like, Fool is one. The one that's right in front of me right now. Fool. You lose 10,000 XP. Discard this card and draw from the deck, again counting both draws as one of your declared draws. If losing that much XP would cause you to lose a level, you instead lose an amount that leaves you with just enough XP to keep your level. That's actually not quite as bad. It's bad, but not that bad. Idiot. Permanently reduce your intelligence by 1d4 plus 1 to a minimum score of 1. You can draw one additional card beyond your declared draws.
It basically changes your character. There's another card in here that immediately gives you the opposite of your alignment that you've created for your character. So if Hillary, if you had spent, let's say, 4 or 5 years developing a character and it was chaotic good, you would turn into lawful evil. And
you have no choice in the matter.
Or there's another card.
Skull. You summon an avatar of death. A ghostly humanoid skeleton clad in a tattered black robe and carrying a spectral scythe. It appears in a space of the GM's choice within 10 feet of you and attacks you, warning all others that you must win the battle alone. The avatar fights you until you die or it drops to 0 hit points, whereupon it disappears. If anyone tries to help you, the helper summons its own avatar of death. A creature slain by an avatar of death cannot be restored to life. So you're in a sudden death battle between you and this other thing, and if you die, you're dead. Like, dead,
Maybe
gone,
I
dead.
shouldn't do Tomb of Horrors.
No, you've been saying Tomb of Horrors. Whatever. Stop thinking. Stop. No. Oh my gosh.
Maybe I should do, after Tomb of Horrors, everybody picks their favorite character. What does that
Yeah,
say?
basically you get reaped.
You get reaped.
Like, I mean, you've got a chance to win, but you're probably not going to.
Oh, the worst. That's not even the worst one. The worst one is the person immediately disappears. They are trapped in a gem. Their soul is trapped in a gem. Their body goes catatonic. The body's still alive. Their soul is trapped in a gem. You can't learn the location of the gem unless you were to use a wish spell to find the location of the gem. Then the DM chooses what plane of existence the gem is on, and you have to travel with the body to the gem. Upon breaking the gem, the soul can enter the body again. But it's guarded by like an unstoppable, unkillable sort of boss.
Rogue. An NPC of the GM's choice becomes hostile towards you. The identity of your new enemy isn't known until the NPC or someone else reveals it. Nothing less than a wish spell or divine intervention can end the NPC's hostility towards you. So some random NPC just starts gunning for you.
They did do that on Critical Role. The episode you watched was the aftermath of Grog pulling a card from the deck of many things. So Thoe's asleep, she's laying in bed, and all of a sudden Mimsy comes up to her and stabs her in the neck.
Yes. Ruin. All forms of wealth that you carry or own other than magic items are lost to you. Portable property vanishes. Businesses, buildings, and land you own are lost in a way that alters reality the least. Any documentation that proves you should own something lost to this card also disappears.
But you could also have access to the wish spell.
There's only one wish spell card in the entire deck.
Yeah, but think of
so
what
what
you could
happens
do
is
with
something
the
terrible
wishes.
happens and people just keep pulling cards hoping to fix it with the wish spell.
But you could do wonderful
This
things
is
with
the
the
most
wish
dangerous
spell.
thing.
You could be super powerful.
Dangerous.
Or cast a 9th level spell with the wish card.
Oh, that's the void. The one you were talking about is the void. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, we need to stop talking about this right now because you are getting too excited about the idea of incorporating a deck of many things.
I'm so excited about incorporating a deck of many things.
Don't do it.
Because I'm making calls right now. Wonder Thoe doesn't touch it. Day may touch it. Grim definitely touches it.
Oh yeah, Grim's gonna be all over that deck.
Nyx doesn't touch it.
Oh.
Mandrake touches it.
Mandrake is gonna be all over that deck too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thoe could resist, Mandrake would not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Grim would not.
Yeah. So we're talking about our favorite spells, which has devolved into
Yes, Princess Wood.
Princess Wood, 1,000%. We are also talking about our favorite magical items and things of that sort. But yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Do we want to close down a little bit early? Do we want to keep going? Yeah.
I don't know. We can play cards. We can talk. We can close down. What do you want to do?
No, I'm good with either one. I might need to go get some more ice because I've already finished my whiskey, my St. Patrick's Day whiskey.
You're ahead of me? That's
I am
not
ahead of
okay.
you.
That is not okay.
You drink that, and I will talk about shape change.
Ooh, tell me about shape change.
It is a 9th level transmutation. You a swarm. Ooh. You assume the form of different
Whiskey.
creatures.
You wanted more whiskey?
Haba.
Bah.
You assume the form of a different creature for the duration. The new form can be of any creature with a challenge rating equal to your level or lower. The creature can't be a construct or an undead, and you must have seen that creature. You transform into an average example of that creature, one without any class levels or the spellcasting trait.
Wow.
You are just that creature.
Jeez.
How about time stop?
Ooh, what is time stop? You stop time? Is this a Doctor Who spell?
No time passes for other creatures.
Is this like the bullet stops midair and you can go and like fix stuff and do stuff and then come back to it?
1d4 plus 1 turns in a row.
Okay, each turn is 6 seconds. So it's going to be a minimum of 12 seconds, but possibly, you said 1d4 plus 1?
Where all of your attacks are at advantage and nobody else
But possibly 30 seconds of time where you can just do whatever you want.
Where you just run around. You just stab, casting spells, doing whatever you want.
Oh my god, time freezes, it comes back, and everything's dead.
Everything is dead, and you're just
like...
standing in a circle.
Got that. Oh my gosh, I like that one.
I like that one too.
I like that one a lot.
Weird.
I have characters who would have fun with that spell for different reasons.
Who would not have fun with that spell? That's an amazing spell. All the 9th level spells are just so incredibly
yeah, but that's because it takes so long to get to those, and you're so freaking powerful by that time. I don't think we even with our 2-year campaign, I don't think we even got to 9th level slots.
No, we're at 14. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But they're so powerful.
God, they're amazing. Oh, this is a great one. This is called Foresight, but it's only a divination spell, so you'd have to be a divination wizard to do it.
Okay.
You touch a willing creature.
I don't have any wizards.
We do. We have Nyx.
No, I don't have any. This is about me. No, I don't have any wizards. I have a sorceress.
You touch a willing creature with so a limited ability to see into the future. For the duration of the spell, which is 8 hours, the target can't be surprised. It has an advantage on all attack rolls, all ability checks, and all saving throws. Additionally, other creatures have disadvantage on attack rolls against it. Wow. For 8 hours, you have advantage on everything. Attack rolls, saving rolls.
That's amazing.
Everything has disadvantage against you.
That's a 9th level?
That's a 9th level. It's called Foresight. You're basically able to see 6 seconds into the future constantly, so you know the right paths to take.
That's amazing. We've got all these spell slots, or all these spell cards out of order now, you realize that? And Reincarnate is on the top again. I'm telling you, this card is haunting me.
Because you keep picking it up and reading it.
I haven't. It's haunting me. I don't like it. It haunts me.
You'll have to tune into the Plaster Dragon to see her freak out about the Reincarnate spell.
No, I'm disturbed by the spell. And I've been creating a ceremony. I have.
I know.
The problem is I don't know if I can get through the ceremony because it's just too emotionally distressing.
Well, you're going to have to try or he's going to be dead. If you can't get through the ceremony...
No, I can get through it. It's just emotionally distressing.
Okay.
I'm distressed.
You're depraved. I'm distressed on account of you're deprived.
These cards are weird.
They are. They are from a casino, so they had to be cut and marked so that you can walk back into the casino with an ace tucked up your sleeve.
Oh, see, I haven't gambled in casinos. So is that why they're all weird and cut on the corners and stuff like that?
Yes. So that a dealer could instantly identify them as cards that have been taken out of circulation of the Casino Royale.
Huh. Good to know. Should we play cards?
We can play some cards.
While we wait for you to get me whiskey?
Holy shit.
What?
Okay.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
You did.
I didn't realize I said that out loud.
All right.
All of a sudden, my brain was saying things, and then my mouth was repeating what my brain was saying.
My mouth was repeating.
So, last week, the week before, I don't know, we were going to teach a game that's a completely made-up game. But we've been playing it for years and years and years. Thank you. And we did not teach that game because we ended up just talking and playing that game. So should we play that same game and not teach it again? I mean, we can sort of teach it, but then not teach it. Yeah.
You guys want to see something cool?
Okay, so this game is called Ridiculous.
I'm going to show you guys the cool dice that we're giving away.
Those are the dice we're giving away on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Oh, they're so pretty. Here.
Courtesy of Critical Dice. Type in the code EBOD, E-B-O-D, to get 25% off your monthly dice subscription.
Wait. I can do this. I have, look. And then code EBOD gets you 25% off?
25% off your first month of your monthly dice subscription. Every month they send you a brand new set
it's really,
of
really
exclusive
cool.
dice.
But here, I'll hold it. See? They're so pretty. What ones are these called? Do you remember?
Yeah.
I don't remember. They're so pretty, though. I love them.
I can actually look it up.
Because one can never have too many dice. It's impossible. Absolutely impossible. Yes, but still talk shit through it like before. What am I talking shit about? I'm not talking shit about stuff. I don't remember what I'm talking shit about. What's going on, Meredith? I don't know. So, thank you for joining us. If you are new and you're just kind of hanging out and lurking, please feel free to say hello. We're nice. We don't bite. We can't because it's through a camera, so it's virtually impossible.
Wow. I believe they're called Galaxy Spiral.
They're pretty.
They're very pretty. Yeah. Okay, so how you play this card game?
Okay, so it's a combination of, I cannot remember the card, the games that it's supposed to be a combination of. I emailed it to you at one point.
Bullshit
and
asshole.
Ridiculous and...
No, the game is called
No, it's called, but there is a game called, because she texted me with what all the things that it was, and I thought Ridiculous was one of them. Anyway, but it's a whole, here it is. Look. Gosh, she said this to me a billion years ago. It's a... Oh.
You weren't able to read this.
I can't read it. I can't read it out loud. It's a combination of bullshit, ridiculous, asshole with some other rules thrown in.
The full name of this game is Shit on My Face and Suck My Cockulous Asshole. Because it's a combination of bullshit, ridiculous, and asshole with some other rules thrown in.
So my sister and her friends made up this game years ago. And then she taught it to me, and we have been playing it kind of ever since.
Makes sense that we would play it on St. Patrick's Day, because while we traveled all throughout Europe, when we didn't speak the language, we could go... I'm so sorry. Yes, the language. When we could travel to different countries, and it didn't matter if we were staying in a small hostel or a bed and breakfast or a hotel room.
Or playing on the train. Because it's kind of easy set up.
Yeah.
So basically, you've got almost like wild cards, but they're not wild cards. They represent different things. So the 4 different cards that represent different things, all you're doing is you're going up or down. So like 8, 9, 10, 11, 10, Jack, Queen, King, Ace. Or you're going down 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Ace is high. Oh gosh, my brain is not working. Oh yeah, the wild cards. That's right. So 2 means you restart. 3 is a mirror card. So it's whatever you just put down. It just mirrors that card. 9 is reverse the direction you're going. And 10 is clear and restart. And that's a lot to remember, but it's really not once you get going. Here, set up. That's you. That's me. So do
you want to switch the cam so that the cards are the main focus, or do you want to keep it on us?
I could do that. Sure, why not? That sounds like it makes sense. Okay, and then so those really aren't used till the end, or these aren't used to the end, but you have to start out with them. And then those are the cards we'll start with. And what you do is you kind of start by getting to switch out from your hand any cards you want to switch out. So I'm going to do this. You can see. And he can't see because I'm blocking. So that's a really good card because that's a mirror card. And but now he knows what I have. But he'll see anyway in a minute. So I'm going to put that one down here. And I could use those two because they're the same. And I can use the same cards together and play them at the same time. But it might be really useful to switch that one, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do this so I can play them at the same time. All right, that's what I'm going to do. That makes no sense. It's okay. What? Don't look at my cards. Psh, whatever.
Just looking at your cards.
You want to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, I'm going to put these over here.
Because the point of this game is to get rid of all the cards in your hand and all the cards in the deck. You can only have 3 cards in your hand.
And we're going up first, right?
At one time.
Okay. Another 7.
We're going up.
Up.
2 8s.
Higher than Jack.
We'll do higher than a Jack.
I can't do that, so I'm going to say lower than a Jack.
I'm going to go lower than a 5.
Lower than a 5.
Lower than a 4.
Higher than a 4.
Go higher than a 5.
Higher than a 6.
Higher than a king.
Higher than an ace.
Go lower than an ace.
But that doesn't help me. Lower than a 4.
We are going to clear and restart.
Well, that's smart.
We will do...
Ah! Why are you throwing cards? Here. Ah! There you go.
Lower than a queen.
Lower than a... Restart. Lower than anything.
Lower than a 6.
Lower than a 6.
Lower than a 5.
Higher than a 5.
Higher than a queen.
Higher than an ace.
Higher than anything.
Lower than anything.
We'll go lower than a king.
Lower than a 4. Haha. Haha.
Lower than a 4.
Crap. Clear. Restart. Lower than an ace.
Lower than an 8.
Lower than a 7.
Lower than a 7.
Restart.
Clear. Restart.
What?
Lower than a queen.
Lower than a jack.
Lower than a jack.
Lower than 6s.
Lower than 6s.
Lower than 6s. Ah! Lower than a jack.
Oh, what do I do here? What do I do?
Restart.
Fuck. I got nothing. I played all my low cards. Lower than a jack.
Ah! That's what I had.
Lower than an ace.
Lower than a king.
Lower than a queen.
Lower than jacks.
Lower than jacks.
Lower than 6s. Ah! Oh no! All right, and that's how you play Recalculus.
You guys got it? It's really easy.
It's really...
That one round was enough for you to pick it up, right?
You totally got
You
it now.
skip it back? You put it back to
No,
us?
I
right?
switched it to... Yeah, well, right at the end there, just so that we could see your expression as you lost. I mean, just so we could see the thing that we
Tuesday.
needed to...
Tuesday, that's when...
Oh,
Paddy-
crap.
Paddy-
He's DMing on Tuesday. Just because I accidentally clicked the button. My finger, it just clicks buttons sometimes, and I didn't understand what I was doing. Does that work? Oh, crap. I just lost our, hello. There we go. Now I can see it. Do we play one more?
No, I think we're good.
Can we stop?
I think we stop. We can
Just
play one more.
because
Let's play one more.
you lost,
Let's
so
play
you
one
have
more.
to redeem yourself. Now you have to win this time.
You're a jerk.
I'm not a jerk. I'm a wonderful person. And you love me.
Let's not rub it in. You have to deal.
I know, I'm mixing up the cards. Shuffling, that's what the word is. Shuffling
the
the
girl that
cards.
mixes up the cards.
I'm mixing up the cards. Scientifically.
You guys haven't fought any cards yet. I wonder I should do that too.
Oh my gosh, we do. We need to fight some cards in Wonder. Of course we need to fight cards in Wonder.
You need to fight some cards and fight a Jabberwocky.
'Twas brillig in the slithy toves, did gyre and gimble in the wave, all mimsy where the borogoves and the moraths outgrabe.
I don't think you're allowed to shuffle.
Beware the
deal
Jabberwock,
anymore.
my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the jub bird and shun, the frumious bandersnatch. Yes?
Yes.
I could keep going. I'm not going to, though.
Thank you. You're
You're welcome. All right.
Jesus.
That's not a bad way to start.
That's an
Oh my gosh, look at you, 3 5.
I'm
You can't
gambling
complain.
against your 10, your 3, and your 2.
Well, but you can put them all down at once if you get to that.
I can actually pick them all up.
Are you
at
going to go
once.
first?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Well, picking this up. Now it's your
Higher than a 5. Higher than a 7. Higher than an ace. Higher than an ace. Higher than a 6.
Hi, folks. For those of you just tuning in,
We're playing Recalculus. It's his favorite game. It's his favorite game when he's winning.
Higher than a 6.
Higher than a 6. Oh, by the way, if you get 4 of the same matching ones, that counts like a 10. You can get rid of them.
Higher
But we
than a
didn't get that.
7.
Higher than a jack.
Alright,
And we'd have more whiskey.
higher than a king.
Higher than anything.
Let's go higher than a 4.
Higher than a queen.
Higher than an ace.
Lower than an ace.
Lower than a jack.
Lower than a 7. Oh, you know, I never switched it back to this. I probably should have. Lower than a... Higher than a 5.
What did Moswald say?
What? Moswald? The deck sounded so fun. Oh, I'm such a hardcore permadeath player in Diablo and stuff where the odds are stacked against the player that winning with the odds stacked against you would be so fun.
It's definitely a
Yeah.
it's definitely a moment like
It's higher than a 5 to you.
higher than an ace.
That did not help me. Higher than an ace.
Higher than anything. Yeah, I really it's such an interesting dynamic. I don't know how intrigued I would be if it broke my game as a DM. So so I don't know. We'd have to see.
Lower than a queen. Lower than a jack. Lower than an 8. Oh my gosh, that's a big
4.
deck.
I'm so used to hearing that.
Higher than a 4.
Right.
Higher than kings.
Higher than kings.
Higher than anything.
Higher than a queen.
Clear. Restart. Thank goodness. Higher than anything.
Clear. Restart. Higher than
5.
a 5.
Higher than a 5.
Higher than a king.
Clear. Restart. Clear. Restart. Higher than a 4.
Lower than a 4.
Crap.
I feel vindicated.
1 each. I could see it being hard to plan around because you'd have an unintentional party wipe in a couple of cards. Yeah, you would totally have.
You honestly
Easily.
could, but I mean, we don't. It's not talked about. There are some benefits to the deck of many things that.
Yeah, there's some good cards, but it's not worth the gamble. Like, if you get those cards, that's amazing.
You have a chance to permanently raise one of your stats. You have the chance to have a permanent sidekick added to the party. You get a knight that follows you around, and his one task is to protect your life. You essentially become Don Quixote from Man of La Mancha, and this knight sort of follows you around as your squire. like sort of protecting you and fighting on your side.
Or you die a horrible death. You know, one or the other.
You get a magical item, a super powerful magical item that's added to your inventory that you are able to use and to be able to like add to your there are benefits to it. That's why people do it.
I know, but it's scary.
It's scary. It's scary.
So scary.
There are things in there that would drastically change your character. I feel like the worst one for a player to get is the one that
The alignment change.
The alignment change.
I hate the alignment change.
Yeah.
Because you could seriously become like, it's one thing if your character is what constitutes drawing a card. Is it random for the deck? Yeah, it's random. You basically say, I'm going to draw a card, and then it's random. Like, they do have charts that correspond to, like, you just taking a deck of cards like this, and whatever card you pick is, you know, you can go, oh, I just pulled. Now, it's not a full, it's like 22 cards, so you have to cull the deck beforehand. But then once you cull the deck beforehand, you're like, oh, I just pulled a 4 of spades, and you look at the chart, or the DM looks at the chart, and they tell you what they pulled, and then you remove that from the deck permanently, and that's no longer in the deck. But yeah, it's random, and whatever you pull is what you pull.
You also have a player announce how many cards they're going to draw. So at the very beginning of the draw, they go, I'm going to draw 4 cards from the deck. And unless there's a card that specifically states, like, this card doesn't count against draws, or the player is instantly transported, or a battle starts right then, you instantly draw from the deck and have to go through with what you said you were going to draw from the deck.
So generally the DM or the GM has already gotten his deck ready, and it's like, all right, you pull a card.
Yep.
That's what you get.
Yeah.
When do you draw, I guess is what I'm asking. Like, once you've said you're going to draw those cards, you draw those cards one at a time. But if you've said you're going to draw 4 cards, unless something prevents you from drawing those 4 cards, you're going to have to draw one, and then you're going to have to draw another, and then another, and then another. Like, after you guys have found the deck, then you're at any point. And like with us, we found the deck, and nobody drew that day. But then later, somebody went, I'm going to draw from the deck in many things. And
yeah, and they actually got one of the good ones, too. They got one of the cards that let you change fate. Basically, it's a major event in your life.
You can change one thing that happened. You can change...
You get to go back and fix one mistake, like in time.
You make one thing have never happened.
Yeah. Or you change the outcome.
But there's a weird butterfly effect to it too, that's kind of a DM discretion thing, where they can say, well, because this never happened, this and this and this never happened. Like, there's a lot of kind of it's open for interpretation.
Right. I say we finish this bottle of whiskey, but we do it off stream.
Yes.
Guys, have a great night. We love you all. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for game night. Thank you so much for forgiving us having just a quiet evening at home. This week is going to be chock-a-block with things happening.
So much D&D, which I can't complain about, but so much D&D. So yeah, we're going to have a full setup in this house, like the full D&D setup from Monday through Friday. So, yeah, that'll be the first week that we've had. Really?
I was crying at having to have that set up on there.
Oh, yeah. No, it takes up like the whole living room.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We're going to have a full D&D setup in this house from Monday through Friday.
I'm going to contact somebody to cater.
What? To cater
one of the
what?
games.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that too. All right.
So for one of the games, there's a good chance we're just going to be eating large amounts of food during the stream.
What do you think, Wonder?
I mean, if we're going to cater anyone, then it should be Wonder.
Right? Wonder it is. Oh, my.
Dude.
So stay tuned. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Stay tuned to the channel. Give us a follow,
yeah,
like,
if you
subscribe.
just stop by, please feel free to click that little heart up there. It helps us, and it helps, I guess, you, because...
You get to hang out with our awesomeness all the time. Giveaway on Tuesday for the new cool, super awesome spirally dice.
Check-in. It's 8 p.m. Eastern time. We're trying to, as much as possible, switch all of our streams to 8 p.m. Eastern, just for our own personal health and sanity. Feel free to follow us on Discord. I was going to click that in, and then I totally didn't. Feel free to follow us on Discord. And hey, if you have Amazon Prime and you are not using it right now, to subscribe to another channel, then feel free to subscribe to us because it doesn't cost you anything and it helps us out. Every single penny we have earned on this channel, granted it hasn't been a lot of pennies, but every single penny we have earned on this channel has gone towards equipment.
Might have misspelled Discord.
I did misspell Discord. Discord. It has gone towards helping us to get an extra microphone. This Yeti came from you guys. It came from you. Thank you. I probably said that really, really loud because I was saying that right
You were
into
saying
the
it
Yeti.
into the microphone.
So it's helped us to get some extra cameras that we needed because one of our cameras died, and it's helped us to get a Yeti, and it has helped us to, it's going to help us to get some new lights because one of our lights exploded on stream, and it's not even our light, it's the light that we were borrowing. So it's going to help us to get our own lights and to replace the light that exploded on stream the other night. There was smoke in the house. It was insane.
Oof.
So thank you for all of your support because your support helps us to keep this channel going. So yeah. Oh, and and a big part of Indigo here is about going and connecting and finding your tribe, finding the people around you who love what you do and love what this is and love D&D and all these other amazing sorts of things. So
Absolutely.
we always end our streams with one thing, and that's Indigo Connect. So
Love you guys.
we love you guys.
We'll see you soon for a week of D&D.